In the summer of 1931, China experienced one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history, the Yangtze River floods. A combination of excessive rainfall and melting snow from the mountains caused the river and its tributaries to overflow, inundating vast swathes of land. This disaster affected millions, with estimates suggesting that around 4 million people were displaced from their homes. The scale of the flooding was staggering. Entire cities were submerged, and agricultural lands, which were the backbone of the Chinese economy, were destroyed. As the water receded, it left behind a landscape of devastation, crops wiped out, livestock lost, and infrastructure in ruins. The human toll was equally severe, with death toll estimates ranging from 1 million to 4 million people due to drowning, disease, and starvation. The aftermath of the flood saw a significant impact on the social and economic fabric of China. Communities were shattered, and the government struggled to respond effectively to the crisis. Relief efforts were hampered by a lack of resources, and many people were left to fend for themselves. The 1931 floods serve as a chilling reminder of nature's power and the vulnerability of humanity in the face of such overwhelming forces. Wave of destruction, revisiting the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. Fast forward to December 26, 2004, when a massive undersea earthquake off the coast of Sumatra triggered one of the deadliest tsunamis in history. The earthquake, measuring 9.1 on the Richter scale, sent waves crashing into coastal communities across several countries bordering the Indian Ocean. Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, and Thailand were among the hardest hit. The sheer scale of the tsunami was unimaginable. Waves reaching heights of up to 30 meters surged ashore, sweeping away entire villages and leaving behind a landscape of destruction. It's estimated that around 230,000 to 280,000 people lost their lives that day, with millions more displaced and traumatized. The tsunami struck with such speed and ferocity that there was little time for warning or evacuation. In the aftermath, the global community rallied together to provide aid and support to the affected regions. Countries around the world donated funds, supplies, and volunteers to help with recovery efforts. The disaster also prompted a re-evaluation of early warning systems and disaster preparedness in coastal regions, leading to significant advancements in tsunami prediction and response. 1815. Mount Tambора's eruption and the year without a summer. The year 1815 was marked by an event that would have far-reaching consequences beyond its immediate vicinity, the eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia. This volcanic eruption is considered one of the most powerful in recorded history, and its effects were felt globally. The eruption released an enormous amount of ash and sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, leading to what is now referred to as the year without a summer in 1816. The immediate impact of the eruption was devastating. Thousands of people died from the eruption itself, and subsequent famine gripped the region as crops failed. But the volcanic winter that followed had even wider repercussions. The drop in temperatures across the northern hemisphere caused widespread agricultural failure, leading to food shortages in Europe and North America. The consequences of Tambora's eruption extended beyond just the immediate devastation. It sparked social unrest, economic turmoil, and significant migration as people sought better living conditions. This natural disaster served as a stark reminder of how interconnected our world is and how events in one corner can ripple across the globe, affecting countless lives. The floods in China, the Indian Ocean tsunami, and the eruption of Mount Tambora each tell a story of destruction, but they also highlight the resilience of humanity in the face of adversity. As we move forward to the next part of our exploration, we'll uncover even more devastating events that have challenged our understanding of nature's power. So, stay tuned as we continue this journey through the most devastating natural disasters in history. When the ground shook, San Francisco's 1906 earthquake. Can you think of a city alive with energy, the streets teeming with life and laughter? Well, it's April 18, 1906. A date that will forever be etched in the history of San Francisco. The ground suddenly begins to tremble, first gently, then violently, as the infamous 1906 San Francisco earthquake strikes at 5:12 a.m. This earthquake registered a staggering magnitude of 7.9, causing widespread devastation across the city and beyond. Tremors were felt as far away as Los Angeles and even in parts of Nevada. But the earthquake itself was only part of the story. The real devastation came in the aftermath. The quake triggered a series of fires that engulfed the city. Broken gas lines ignited, and within hours, flames spread uncontrollably. In just 3 days, more than 80% of San Francisco was reduced to ashes. The fires burned for several days. As firefighting efforts were hampered by a lack of water, water mains had been destroyed by the earthquake. The toll was catastrophic. Approximately 3,000 lives were lost, with many estimates suggesting the actual number could be even higher. Entire neighborhoods vanished, and thousands were left homeless, wandering the charred remains of their once vibrant community. Makeshift camps sprang up in parks and open areas as survivors struggled to find food, water, and shelter. In the wake of this disaster, the city underwent a transformation. The rebuilding process began almost immediately, but it wasn't just about restoring what had been lost. The earthquake prompted significant changes in building codes and urban planning, leading to the establishment of more stringent regulations designed to make buildings safer in the event of future earthquakes. Moreover, the disaster laid bare the importance of preparedness and emergency response, sparking discussions on how cities can better protect themselves from natural catastrophes. The lessons learned from San Francisco were echoed in cities across the globe, emphasizing the need for better planning and community resilience. Bola cyclone's path of destruction. Let's turn our attention to another tragic event. The 1970 Bola cyclone, one of the deadliest tropical cyclones ever recorded. It was November 12, 1970, when the cyclone made landfall in East Pakistan, now Bangladesh. The storm packed winds of over 115 miles per hour and created a storm surge that inundated low-lying coastal areas. As the cyclone struck, an estimated 10 to 15 feet of water rushed inland, overwhelming communities. It's difficult to fathom, but the death toll is believed to be between 300,000 and 500,000, making it one of the most lethal natural disasters in history. What compounded the tragedy was the lack of preparedness. The warning systems were inadequate, and many villagers were unaware of the impending disaster. When the storm struck, there were widespread reports of panic and confusion, with many people unable to evacuate in time. In the aftermath, the destruction was immense. Entire villages were erased from the map, and countless families were torn apart. The response to the cyclone has been heavily criticized. The government's inability to provide adequate shelter and support for those affected led to widespread outrage. The Bola cyclone had profound political implications as well. It played a crucial role in shaping the political landscape of Bangladesh. The demands for better governance and disaster management grew louder, ultimately contributing to the civil unrest that would lead to the Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971. Today, the legacy of the Bola cyclone is still felt in Bangladesh. It serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities faced by communities in disaster-prone regions and has led to significant advancements in disaster preparedness and response protocols. Haiti 2010, a nation in ruins. After the earthquake now, let's travel to the Caribbean, where the Haitian capital of Port-au-Prince was rocked by a magnitude 7.0 earthquake on January 12, 2010. The quake struck at 4:53 p.m. local time and was centered just 10 miles southwest of the city, causing catastrophic damage. Haiti, already the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, faced a disaster of monumental proportions. Buildings crumbled, schools collapsed, and hospitals were overwhelmed. It's estimated that over 230,000 lives were lost, with many more injured. The earthquake also displaced approximately 1.5 million people, creating a humanitarian crisis that would take years to resolve. In the immediate aftermath, the world responded with an outpouring of aid and support. Nations sent rescue teams, supplies, and funds to help the devastated population. However, the challenges of recovery were immense. The existing infrastructure was inadequate to support the influx of aid, and logistical difficulties hampered relief efforts. Despite the global response, recovery was slow and fraught with difficulties. Issues such as corruption, political instability, and the lack of resources impeded efforts to rebuild the nation. The 2010 earthquake highlighted not just the physical vulnerabilities of buildings and infrastructure, but also the societal challenges that must be addressed in disaster response. In the years since the quake, many lessons have been learned about the importance of resilient infrastructure, emergency preparedness, and community involvement in recovery efforts. Haiti's experience has become a case study in the necessity for comprehensive disaster risk reduction strategies that consider both natural and human factors. As we conclude this exploration of some of history's most devastating natural disasters, we see a pattern of tragedy intertwined with resilience. The San Francisco earthquake, the Bola cyclone, and the Haiti earthquake each tell a unique story of loss but also of the enduring human spirit. These events remind us that while nature can unleash its fury, the responses we craft in the face of disaster are crucial. They compel us to learn, adapt, and improve our preparedness for the future. Each disaster has not only shaped the regions affected but has also sparked global conversations about disaster management, urban planning, and community resilience. Indian Ocean tsunamis, fury of 2004. On December the 26th, 2004, a catastrophe of unimaginable proportions unfolded in the Indian Ocean. A massive undersea earthquake measuring 9.1 on the Richter scale triggered a series of devastating tsunamis that struck the coasts of Indonesia, Thailand, India, and several other nations. It was one of the deadliest natural disasters in recorded history. The earthquake's epicenter was located off the west coast of northern Sumatra, Indonesia. In a matter of minutes, waves as high as 100 feet surged towards land, engulfing everything in their path. Coastal communities had little to no warning. Within hours, the death toll began to climb, ultimately reaching over 230,000 lives lost across 14 countries. The sheer scale of destruction was staggering. Entire towns were swept away, and the landscape was forever altered. In Indonesia's Aceh province, where the tsunami made landfall first, the devastation was absolute. Thousands of homes and buildings were obliterated, and the fishing industry, a vital part of the local economy, was decimated. The immediate response to the disaster was heartwarming. An unprecedented wave of international aid poured into the affected regions. Governments, NGOs, and ordinary people from around the world rallied to provide assistance. Yet the sheer scale of the disaster complicated relief efforts, leading to logistical challenges. In the aftermath, the impact on communities was profound. The psychological scars left by the tsunami were deep. Survivors faced not only the loss of family members and homes, but also the challenge of rebuilding their lives in the wake of trauma. Many communities struggled with the loss of their livelihoods and the need for psychological support. The Indian Ocean tsunami also prompted a global reassessment of disaster preparedness. In its wake, countries around the Indian Ocean region established tsunami warning systems and improved emergency response plans. The event underscored the importance of international cooperation in disaster management and the need for effective communication to warn communities at risk. Japan's earthquake and tsunami nightmare. On March 11, 2011, Japan faced one of the most powerful earthquakes in its history. The Tohoku earthquake, registering a magnitude of 9.0, struck off the northeastern coast, triggering a catastrophic tsunami that would wreak havoc on the nation. As the ground shook violently, buildings swayed and people rushed to safety. However, the real danger came from the tsunami that followed. Waves as high as 133 feet slammed into the coast, devastating towns and cities in their path. The destruction was immense. Towns like Minami Sanriku and Ishinomaki were almost completely wiped off the map. In total, the disaster claimed the lives of over 18,500 people, with thousands more injured. Beyond the immediate loss of life, the tsunami also caused a nuclear crisis at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. The plant was severely damaged, leading to meltdowns and the release of radioactive materials. This incident raised serious concerns about nuclear safety and disaster preparedness. Japan's response to the Tohoku disaster was marked by a remarkable spirit of resilience. The nation quickly mobilized resources for recovery and rebuilding. Communities came together, demonstrating incredible solidarity in the face of adversity. However, the recovery process was lengthy and complex, involving not only physical reconstruction but also psychological healing. The Tohoku earthquake and tsunami highlighted the importance of strict building codes and disaster preparedness. Japan had long been known for its seismic safety measures, yet the scale of this disaster pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. As a result, Japan reevaluated its emergency protocols and disaster response strategies, emphasizing the need for continuous improvement and adaptation. Hurricane Harvey, the flood that swallowed a city. In August 2017, Hurricane Harvey made landfall in Texas, becoming one of the most destructive hurricanes in U.S. history. Initially, Harvey hit the coast near Rockport as a Category 4 hurricane, but its true impact came as it stalled over southeastern Texas, unleashing record rainfall. In just a matter of days, parts of Houston and the surrounding areas received over 50 inches of rain, leading to catastrophic flooding. Streets turned into rivers and homes were inundated. Thousands were displaced as water levels rose, and rescue operations were hampered by the sheer volume of water. The toll was staggering. Over 100 lives were lost, and damages were estimated at around $125 billion, making Harvey one of the costliest natural disasters in U.S. history. The recovery process was lengthy, with communities working tirelessly to rebuild their lives and homes. The aftermath of Hurricane Harvey also sparked discussions about climate change and its role in intensifying storms and flooding. As temperatures rise, the capacity of the atmosphere to hold moisture increases, leading to heavier rainfall events. This realization has prompted many cities to reconsider their infrastructure and emergency preparedness in the face of climate-related disasters. Hurricane Harvey was a reminder of the vulnerability of communities to extreme weather events. It also highlighted the importance of resilient infrastructure and the need for comprehensive disaster preparedness plans. As communities rebuild, they are focusing on creating systems that can withstand future storms and protect against the escalating threats posed by climate change. From the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami to the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and Hurricane Harvey in 2017, each event tells a story of tragedy, loss, and ultimately, hope. These disasters remind us of our shared vulnerability and the need for compassion and preparedness. They underscore the importance of learning from the past to build a safer, more resilient future. As we move forward, let us remember the lessons of these events and work collectively to create communities that can withstand the challenges posed by nature. In the end, while nature can unleash its fury, the human spirit is capable of remarkable strength. By embracing the lessons of our past, we can forge a path towards a brighter and more resilient future for all. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for the latest tech news. Thanks for sticking around, and I will catch you in the next video.